You know what I might want to do? I might want to add myself to the stream. Hey, y'all. I feel like I haven't seen you guys in forever. Has it been like, what, an hour? Hello, hello. Welcome. I'm Linda, your host of The Melanated Way. We are covering Darcey and Stacey. The queens are back, y'all. The queens are back. Listen, as soon as I popped on my Discovery Plus and I saw that Darcey and Stacey were back, I literally was like, you know what? I feel at home. I feel at home. These two, just they make me laugh, you guys. I really enjoy them, and I know they get a lot of flack, but I just really love Darcey and Stacey, and I think that the accuracy of just even dating in 2021 is absolutely 100% accurate. Like I really, all the things that are going through, and all the things that they talk about, and all the things as a single person, accurate. Seriously accurate. So we're gonna talk about Darcey and Stacey. You only know so much. Title is appropriate as well. Gonna do a little bit of housekeeping. Want to let y'all know that we're doing a block party on Thursday. It's kind of gonna be a free for all. If you're gonna join us, bring your favorite dish, bring your adult beverage, and we're just gonna like chit chat. It's a year of celebrating the melanated way. A lot of changes coming up, you guys. So make sure wherever you're watching, you are liking and subscribing, because as we do more and more shows, we're expanding over to Apple TV, Amazon Prime, and Roku. And we're going to change some things up, you guys. A lot of content, a lot of shows, and a lot of guests, and all of that stuff. So we just want to tighten up a little bit. So support the show, support the growth, support the show, support the growth. I'm not going to do any shout outs right now, because I've done the shout outs in the previous show, and you guys know who you are, and I appreciate you guys supporting the show. Without you guys, I can't make this happen. Wherever you're watching, if you feel led, bottom of your screen shows where you can support. If you're watching on YouTube, we do have super chats and super stickers, so feel free. Everything is appreciated. Oh, Patty, you're the best. You really are. Thank you, Patty. I really do appreciate you so very much. So very much, Patty. So you guys, Darcey and Stacey, they're back. I don't know what you guys think. I want to know what you guys think. Did y'all miss them? Did y'all think like, hey, this is who we needed? Because I have to tell you, this is exactly what I needed today, for sure. So as we know, we left off season 1 with Georgi proposed, right? So Georgi proposed and Florian cheated. That's kind of where we left season 1. We pick up season 2. It's 48 hours after the proposal. And of course, they're fighting. Georgi's MIA. And, you know, I have to tell you, I missed it. I did. I missed the crying. I missed Darcey's crying. She's got her hair up, and the hair extension little pieces are popping out, and she doesn't give a rat's ass because she's having a moment. She just got what we've all wanted for her, you guys. We've been following her journey for what, like 6 years? We went through Tom. We went through, what's his face? Jesse. We've been through some things with her. And, you know, Tom and Jesse weren't like one season only, one and done. We went through them with a couple of seasons. So, like, we've been waiting for her to find love and finally get the ring that she's been waiting for. And she finally got the ring that she's waiting for. And 48 hours after the proposal, it's a fight. Georgi's gone. She doesn't know where he is. And she's upset because she feels like he knows everything about her, and she just really knows a little about him. And, of course, what you're going to do after you had that romantic boat proposal, you're going to ask him all the questions that you should have probably asked him before he proposed. You guys, like, I don't know how many times I have to tell y'all, and I'm not even going to say it this time. I'm going to say, all my regular viewers, what are the 4 things that I tell you on a regular basis that you have to have the discussion about before you get married? I want you guys to pop that in the live chat. And if you're watching the replay, go ahead and put it in the comments, and I'll comment back. What are the 4 things that I tell you guys that they're non-negotiables? You have to have the conversations. You have to. What are the 4 things? I know some of you guys know because I talk about it all the time. So Darcey didn't have that conversation. So Darcey decided after the ring was on her finger that she was going to go ahead and ask him some things that she had some questions about, and he didn't like it. Yes, money. Money. How do you spend your money? How do you save your money? How do you feel about money? You have to have that question. Children. Do you want children? Do you not want children? How do you feel about children? That's number 2. Number 3, faith and religion. Do you believe? Do you not believe? If we have children, what do you want the children to believe? That's you. It's a must. 4th and final, sex. Sex is important in a relationship. How do you feel about sex? How often do you want to have sex? How do you feel? What's all the sex talk all the time? Those are the 4 things. If you don't have, yes, Patty, sex is a little, if you don't have that question or you don't have that conversation about those 4 things, you're going to have some problems in your long-term relationship. I'm going to tell you that right now. If y'all are not on the same page, this person's thinking one thing, this person's thinking another thing, you're going to have a problem. And so here we are with Darcey having a problem because, Darcey, she already has trust issues. We've already dealt with the Toms. We've dealt with the Jessies. She's had trust issues. She finally thinks that she's met the one with Georgi, yet she didn't have all the relevant conversations that she needed to have. And now he's gone. And now she's crying. And Darcey's a beautiful lady, but Darcey has an ugly cry, and she's doing the ugly cry. And I'm kind of here for it all the time. I don't know why. I shouldn't have joy at someone else's crying because, that means that person's in pain. But she's just like an excellent crier, if that makes sense. She's an excellent crier. Like, you feel her. You feel like, you know what? She's crying right now. And it's that. It's all that, right? End scene. So she's crying. They had a fight. She wanted to talk about some of her concerns, and it escalated, and she left. And she just really feels that her twin has been there for her. Stacey is her rock. And Stacey just tells her, really, you need to stay strong. And so Stacey decides that she's going to come pick her up. They're going to have some girl time with their mom, Nancy. And so they pick up Nancy from the grocery store, and Nancy gets in the back seat. And I just totally forgot about, I don't know why you guys, I forgot about Nancy, but she's a character and she doesn't even have to do much. And she's a character as far as I'm concerned. So she is in the back seat. She asked about Rhode Island. She asked about like how they're all doing. And, she doesn't know about the engagement, right? Because Darcey doesn't want to say anything because she doesn't know where she stands in a relationship. So why tell mom that I'm engaged when I don't, am I still engaged? I don't know. Right? But Stacey says, you should really tell mom. Like, you should tell her like what's going on. So you guys, this scene cracked me up. So Stacey says, Darcey, you should tell mom. And so Darcey's like, yeah, so it was good. We went on a little date. We went on a boat ride, and, he popped a question. And then there was silent. Everyone was silent. The mom was just looking out there, looking at the window. And like, if I had cricket music right now, it was like crickets, 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 crickets. And then Stacey looks over at Darcey. And Darcey looks over at Stacey, and still Nancy hasn't said a word, right? So Darcey says it again. He popped the question. Mom doesn't react. And then she's like, pardon? He popped it? Yeah, he popped it. No, Mom, she's not saying that he popped her cherry. Plus, your daughter's too grown to have her cherry popped in her 40s. I mean, it can happen. There was the 40-Year Virgin movie, so it could be I don't know. But the mom is like so funny to me. Like, she's just so simple. You know what I mean? Like, simple things. So this whole pop the question, I even feel like that was like too much slang for her to understand. So Darcey finally has to turn around in her seat and say it like a third time. No, he popped the question, and she shows her ring. And instead of like, oh my God, that's so great, I can't believe it, congratulations, she's like, oh, that's nice. I've always wanted a ring like that. Oh, poor thing. Poor Nancy. Nancy. Oh, poor Nancy. So basic. So she's like, oh, that's really nice. He's a good guy. And that was it. That was the end of her reaction. That was it. Like, he's a nice guy, and basically, good luck to you. Good luck to you. I hope it works out. She's a woman of few words, apparently. So then Darcey gets a text, and apparently Georgie's home. And so instead of going off to Stacey's place or wherever they were going to go, Darcey wants to be taken home. And you guys, I wanted to do something, and I totally missed my opportunity. I'm so mad about it. So anyways, I'm just going to have to talk it through with you because I really wanted to do it, but it's too hot. So I wanted to like have a hoodie on and my sunglasses on because this fool was straight undercover. Like he ain't trying to talk to you. He ain't trying to be about you. She gets back and he's all slumped over. He's like undercover in his hoodie. He's got a cigarette in his hand. And he's looking at her. And you can't really tell he's looking at her because he's got his sunglasses on. But all you can tell is like he's not impressed. He's not impressed with the shenanigans. He's not impressed with Darcey's antics. He's just not having it. But Darcey, she starts asking all the questions. She's like, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you good? Are you happy? Do you love me? Do you want to talk about it? And he's like, the only thing he says is, talk about what? But do you love me? Are you happy? Are we in a good place? Like the constant, right? And then she's not getting the feedback that she thinks that she was supposed to get from him. So I really need to do this. So she does this. Let me just get into character. She's sitting across from him on this green chair, right? And she's sitting back. Wait, I can't do it I can't laugh, you guys. Okay, hold on. All right. Let me get into character. She does this. Do you love me? Oh, okay, Darcey. Okay. End scene. But that's exactly how it was. The whole ugly cry came out, but there were actually no tears. She just needed reassurance that he was in a good place with her and he still wanted to marry her. And I felt for her because she's got trust issues and, men have cheated on her in the past and men have left her in the past and have been mean to her. So I get it. I totally get it. So he's not messing around with her. He's like, I've been there, done that. I don't need to talk about any of these things. And so he understands that she has concerns. He gets it, right? Because they've had that conversation where she's worried that he's not coming from a good place. He doesn't have pure intentions for their relationship and being with her. And he knows about Tom cheating. He knows that she has a hard time trusting people and trusting again, really, right? Because she has been screwed over by her past relationships. And, she's worried about his divorce. Okay, so we talked about this a lot last year. And I still want to know what you guys think about it. But, okay, so if you're separated, but you're not divorced, you're still technically married. You're like single in your mind because you're separated, but on paper you're still married. So like, I don't know, and I'm still trying to figure out how you then can go ahead and buy a ring and be engaged to somebody else when you're still married, right? Because that's what their situation was last year. So Darcey has concerns about that. But the thing is, and I'm going to say it again this year, you have concerns about it, but you still said yes, right? So, like, you could have said, well, you know what? Yes, I want to marry you. This is a gorgeous ring, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you, but I'm going to need you to, like, get your life situated and get your divorce finalized before I accept the ring and before I can say you're my fiance, because, like, technically, can you be a fiance if your significant other is married to somebody else, even if they're separated? Like, I don't know. However, they're having some issues. Well, Darcey has issues about that, right? Because he's not technically divorced. He's still married. And then the other thing that she's having a hard time understanding is why he still has his place in DC, right? Because that's like messing with her abandonment issues. And the fact that, you know, he can just pick up and leave. He's got his pad still there and he can go at any point. So she just wants him to let go of it. But his side of it is, hey, listen, I'm not divorced yet. I need to keep my residency in DC until my divorce. And then once I get divorced, I no longer need to be a resident in DC. So then I can get rid of my place. That's his logic. So you're going to believe what you want to believe. But I see both sides of it. So he's done talking about it. He's not going to talk about it. He feels he's explained that to Darcey many a time over. And she is choosing not to hear him. She's just choosing not to. And so then he just sitting there. He's still like all undercover. He's still like just smoking a cigarette, looking at her. And I'm sure in his mind, he's like, do I actually really want to be here? Is this the person that I want to marry? Because really, they just got engaged. They didn't even get 48 hours to like celebrate and have the party and celebrate with other people. Instead, they had a big old fight. And like, that should be the quote unquote honeymoon phase, right? Like you just got engaged and then your engagement announcement, you're going to celebrate with your friends. You're going to call your friends because it's COVID. So you're going to call them, you're going to FaceTime, you're going to have lots of sex. And then you're going to like do all your social media posts, like all the stuff, right? But instead you're fighting and one person is taken off. Like, so I get it. I get like, he's like, that moment is rude. And that's the moment you're going to remember for the rest of your life. So like, what did you do? You know, the first 48 hours after you got engaged. Oh, you had a fight and you didn't talk. That's like part of your history now, and it's unfortunate. Ray Della said she's too thirsty to wait for his divorce to be finalized. Aw, poor Darcey. Then they fast forward. It's 2 months later, and we see Stacey and Florian doing his modeling. Now, in real life, Florian's modeling career, just FYI, so you guys know, it's like flourishing. He's done an international photo shoot with a really like she's like some big superstar model internationally. He's done like a water bottle company photo shoot. Like his modeling is taking, I mean, I even have to say, y'all, like he's looking good. Like listen. Let me just take a minute to show you, because I know some of y'all are not going to believe me. You're not. I know it. I know how you guys are skeptics, can be skeptical. But when I say that it's actually really taking off, it's really taking off. And good for him, because I don't really think that I know a lot of guys that are like, hey, you know, my dream is to be a model. Like, I don't think I know a lot of guys like that. I know a couple, but it's not a lot. And so 2 months later, this is where we're seeing them. So, oh, it's video, so it's not going to be so good with the green screen, but you can kind of get an idea. So this is the water company that he is the brand ambassador for, model for. And then, but wait. There's another one that I'm just like, oh, okay, I see you. There's another one where you're just like, okay, Florian, go ahead with your bad self. Oh, this is one with Miss Universe Singapore, okay? You see that? So my point being, he's out there actually modeling and getting gigs and doing well. So good on him. But we see him the second season, first episode, modeling and Stacey cheering him on. And they're trying to like get a whole modeling portfolio so that he can start modeling right away as soon as he's able to work and he has his green card because now they're married. The only thing is Stacey's being like a stage mom, right? So she's like, be sexy, be confident, be fierce, own it, chin up, chin down, to the left, to the right. And it's getting under his skin, right? Because she feels like he's being too stiff. And so she wants to show him. And she's like, well, I have experience. I do photo shoots all the time for their company, House of 11. I do it all the time. So I know what I'm talking about. And then she gets on to the green screen background and she literally flaunts it. And I have to tell you, she knew what she was doing. She was like working it, you guys. Did you see that? She's working to the left, to the right, to the spin and the back and the turn and the hood. She did the whole thing. Florian was not having it. He wanted no part of that whatsoever, period. So as Stacey's trying to take over his photo shoot, he's like, is this photo shoot for me or is it for you? And she's like, well, it's for us, really, because she needs him to get a job to contribute to the relationship. So really, she is like fronting him, but she expects a return on her investment. And he's the investment. So yes, it's for us. So the photographer is confused. He's like, what's going on? Like, I don't even understand the dynamics of these two. He's like, they definitely have an interesting relationship. Because meanwhile, she's going over the top and he's getting more and more angry. And finally, he's like, Stace, it's enough. And then he's like, shh, shut up, shut up. And then he's like, shut your fucking mouth. And she's like, oh, what did you say? And I don't understand this, but it's a thing, and I don't understand. I talk about it with Angela, but when Americans say, you know, I'm an American, or she, in this case, said, we're in America. You don't talk to me like that. And he even said, well, what does even America have to do with it? America or wherever he's from, doesn't matter. And it doesn't, because like, I'm still trying to understand when some of you, not all of you, but when some of you guys say that, what does that even mean? Are you saying you're in America so you're free to do and say what you want? Is that what you're saying? But because if that's indeed what you're saying, then this argument doesn't make sense, because then he should be free to say and do what he wants. Right? So I don't know. Someone has to explain it to me, because I've been hearing it quite often with some of these cast members that I'm an American or we're in America. Like, what does that even mean? Explain it to me. So she's pissed that he's now cussed her out and don't talk to me like that in America. And she's like, especially don't talk to me that in front of professionals like that. Like, zip it. We'll continue this conversation later. And then they kind of have their to camera. They're talking about how they're moving soon. They're talking about their marriage. And Florian's trying to explain how happy he is, but he can't explain it. So he says, oh, it's just hard to explain. Marriage is hard to explain. Yeah, my friend, it is. And y'all's marriage is definitely hard to explain. Yep, I hear you. And so Stacey says, you know, Florian is amazing. He's been her rock during this whole pandemic. He's also been Darcey's rock and been there for Darcey with all the stuff that had been going on for the past 2 months with Georgi, and that they're just all really there for each other and that they just really love each other. They're going to be moving soon because they're going to get more space and they won't be on top of each other. And hopefully that's going to help his anger issues, she says to camera. And so here we are. Now, Darcey, on the other hand, has taken these last few months to really work on herself. She took time for herself to focus on what's important to her, as well as Aniko and Aspen spending time with her daughters because that really grounds her too, and that those two are her rocks and her everything, and she doesn't really need anything but them, right? So she's good. You see her kind of interacting with her daughters a little bit. You see a random shot of her dad working out in front of the house. Okay. Fast forward, we see Georgi, we see Darcey. They're sitting to camera. They both have their hair to the side like this. And you feel a little bit of tension, but you're not sure what's going on. And then we find out that they're still engaged. They're moving into a bigger place. And they're working on the relationship. And he says that he's been hurt. And that's why he's had a hard time opening up to Darcey. And he can't open up easy because he too is dealing with past relationship traumas. Okay. That was very open of him to say. But they both want to make it work. And they both want to still get married, and they just need to get through the obstacles. And then you see them both go like this. And then he's like, oh, that's weird. And she's like, why is that weird? We're a couple, so we'll tend to have do couple things at the same time. Well, it is a bit weird, y'all. It is a bit weird. But they both have beautiful, lush hair. So go ahead and flip it. So then they flash forward to Aniko and Aspen. They're going to some high school shindig party. And what they love about their mom is their mom can always hype them up, and their mom can always help them get ready because she knows so much about hair. She knows so much about makeup, and she's amazing. And I believe all that stuff. I really do. I think Darcey really loves fashion, knows a lot about fashion, has her own fashion line. And obviously she cares about hair and makeup and all of that stuff. So I believe that it's fun to get ready with her. Now, the thing that was interesting that we find out about Darcey is that growing up, her and her sister were introverts and they never really socialized. And she didn't have her first kiss until she was in college when she was 18. She had her first kiss with a Latin lover, so to speak. But she wants to make sure that, she has the conversation with her daughters, right? Because they're 14 and 15, very young, teenagers, or 15 and 16, something like that. So she wants to have the sex talk because she knows that they must now be having some urges. And what does she say? Urges and feelings. And they're like, oh, Mom, we already know all this stuff. We learned it all in health class. And then she's like, you did? Did they teach you how to put a condom on? Did they show it on a banana? I was like, wait, what year did you graduate, Darcey? Because they don't do that anymore, if they ever did. And just FYI, you guys, I was going to get a banana, but I didn't want to get kicked off of YouTube. I was going to do a whole thing. In my mind, I had a whole thing that I thought would be hilarious. But I thought about how strict YouTube is getting, and I didn't want to have any drama. So instead of the banana and condom demonstration, she's like, okay, well, if they don't do that, do they explain to you how you put it on a pee-pee? Did you just call a penis a pee-pee to your teenage daughters? What? The only time that I've ever said pee-pee is to a toddler that, do you need to go pee-pee? I didn't realize that as grown adults that we're referring to the male anatomy as pee-pees. Are we doing that? Did I miss that memo? I laughed, you guys. I laughed and laughed and laughed. So she tries to go on, and they're like, Mom, you're making this awkward. This is awkward. And I was like, Darcey, you are absolutely making it awkward. And so Darcey's like, well, just if they like you enough, they'll wait. And Nico's like, yeah, like I'm not trying to have any type of baby anytime soon. They need to put a ring on my finger first and foremost. And that's not going to happen anytime soon. And I really do think that Darcey has done a good job with her children, with her 2 daughters. And that, you know, they have their head on their shoulders. And I remember that from when we first met them way back in the Jesse days, and they were just not feeling Jesse, and they really wanted their mom to just like leave him, all of that. So I think that they've seen enough relationship drama to know that they don't want that in their lives. You know how sometimes when you're like, when you see the adults in your life doing like fucked up stuff, you're like, oh, mental note, I will never do that. I think it's a little bit of that. So they go off to their little party, and then she's making dinner, and her dad, Mike, and her mom, Nancy, are over for dinner. We find out that, you know, those 2 got divorced when Darcey and Stacey were 12, but they're still really good friends. And, you know, dad has concerns about what this whole dinner is about. Like, why are we here? What's the announcement? And Darcey's like, oh, we're going to just wait for Georgi. He should be here soon. And he's just basically like, don't rush. You know, he's still married. You know, he ain't got no job. He ain't got no money. He didn't say all that. I'm making it up. But I know that's what he was thinking. And then he says to Cameron, you know, I'm worried because the only couple of things that they could talk to me about or want to talk to me about is marriage or pregnancy. Right? But it wasn't those things. Georgi finally shows up. He brings cigars for the dad, which I thought was really great. Brings flowers for the mom. Great as well. And they're acting like it's big news. Now, they had me for a minute. I thought, oh, maybe she's pregnant. Like, maybe that could be it, right? Because they had all the makeup sex and everything was great. Woody, woody, woo. No, the big news is that Georgi is finally divorced. The final divorce paper came through. He's actually free to actually have a real fiance because he is now officially divorced. So they're going to have a fresh start, a good new start. And dad was like, oh, that's great. That's great news. He's like, I thought it was going to be like a pregnancy or something. He's like, and Georgie's like, well, maybe that will be the next announcement. And dad's like, slow your roll, because I'm going to need to know if you're in a place, not only mentally, but in your life, to take on the responsibilities of family. And he's like, I'm not the one to bud my nose in other people's business, but like, what were you doing before? Are you still doing massage therapy? And, you know, he doesn't want to do that anymore, especially with the pandemic and all the things. So, you know, I'm sure that has dried up for him. So like, what are you going to do? Now, here's the thing, y'all. He didn't answer. He didn't say like, this is my game plan. So I'm curious, what is he going to do? Like, what does he want his job to be? Because we already have one model. So takers, anyone? What's he going to do? Hey, Dasha. Hey, girl. Hey. What's he going to do? Like, no, seriously. What's his skill set? If I knew, I would. I just don't remember. Do we remember him having any other, like, what's his skill set, you guys? Like, does he have a trade? Because the last I knew is that he was a massage therapist to the stars. So if you're not going to be a massage therapist, what exactly? C. Cruz. Hey, C. Cruz. Hey, girl. Hey. C. Cruz says his job will be riding on her coattails, obviously. Yeah. So we didn't hear a game plan. We didn't. So that's a conversation. When I talked about, you need to talk about money and how you spend money. Yeah. Because what we hear from Stacey in this episode as well is that Stacey's not fucking with him. She's not impressed. She feels like she's seen his real light, and she's getting that from a couple of different things. First, she's getting that from the fact that it was the twins' birthday, and they went shopping in the middle of COVID, and only a few people go in the store at a time. And instead of letting the two twins that are the birthday girls go in together, Georgi went in with Darcey, and he's like, well, I want something on her birthday. And she ended up buying him a fur coat on her birthday. Now, I don't know about you, but that's all wrong for a lot of different reasons. Okay. A lot of different reasons. Your husband or your fiance, I should say, who just barely got really divorced, is thinking about himself and not about you on your birthday. If that's not a red flag, I don't know what is. Oh my God, you guys are so funny in the live chat. Yeah, Dasher, maybe he'll be a personal trainer because listen, his body is on fire right now. Like he's got like one of those 8-packs, like just abs everywhere. So yeah, he could definitely be a personal trainer. Definitely be a personal trainer for sure. Lori says, I thought he was a chiro. He's getting social media money thanks to Darcey. That's true too. He's an influencer, perhaps. Perhaps. But like, I don't know. I just feel like he's going to have some type of game plan as well. So anyways, it's moving day. And for the second time, right, because the twins always have to be close to each other. So they're moving from the building on this side of the street to the building across the street to bigger places. Darcey has the penthouse suite. And then because there are no other empty apartments in that whole entire building, Stacey has to live right directly below her. And she has some worries about that, right? She's like, oh, well, I have to be right underneath her. And I hope that I don't have to hear her. Well, you could have picked any other available unit. I feel like you plan to be right below her. I do. So I don't think we can be complaining about much. So they're moving. Friends, and then they have, did you guys notice they have twin matching cars and they're both black? Like, I don't know about y'all, but like when you wake up in the morning sometimes and you just like go down to your car and you're like, oh, where's my car? Are you grocery shopping and there's a similar car that's parked beside you? You have to like spend a couple of seconds like, which one's my car? You know, I wouldn't want to do that all the time. Nope. Like matching cars, but like one be black, one be white, or one be red and one be blue or something. You know what I mean? But no, they're the same cars. However, they drive across the street to the new place. Debbie and Raina want to come over. It's the pandemic. And so they're going to like have like a little tailgate in the parking lot. And they bring over housewarming gifts. They'd like air hug, wine outside the truck. And they're just catching up, talking about how Darcey's having some communication issues with her fiance. And then they talk about this cash thing, which I want to ask you guys this. So they find, especially Raina finds it very weird that one day Darcey was putting away Georgi's clothes and she got to like the socks and underwear, and in one of the socks she found $1,400 hidden away in the back of the drawer. And she had questions, and when she approached him about it, he's like, oh, it's to pay my credit card bills. Now, the friends think that that's super shady. They think that who does that? Who hides money in their sock? Y'all, don't most people hide money somewhere in their house? Maybe not in their sock, but don't most people have money hidden somewhere? Or is that just not a thing? I think it is a thing. I think that there are plenty of people that have money hidden somewhere in the house for emergencies. I don't think it's weird, and I don't think it's shady. Lori says no. Really? I think people do it. I do. And maybe it's not an American thing. Maybe it's like an international thing. You know, see? Well, Vanessa doesn't say, but that's what I'm saying. So like, if you don't have a safe, maybe you have money somewhere in your house for emergencies. Oh, so it really is a thing. Judy says, we don't. Dasha says, I don't. Okay, so that makes sense to me. So maybe I think it's not an American thing. I'm going to tell you that as a Canadian and as an international person, that's what international people do. They hide money in their house just in case. Okay? It's a thing. So I guess it's not a thing in America. Thank you for giving me the 411. I get it. And that's why y'all think it's super shady. Someone in the live chat thinks it's drug money. Nah, it's just an international thing. See, Lori says, my dad has always had a stash of cash in 2 places in his house. It's like an international thing. Vanessa says, my parents put it in the bottom of a pledge can. Lee says, I have a few bucks hidden. Okay, so I don't feel crazy. I don't feel crazy. It is a thing with some people. It's not a thing with other people. Let's say it's like that. So they think she should just slow down, slow your roll. Don't jump into anything too quickly. You don't have to marry him real quick. You can like just take your time and learn to communicate and like find out if he's like just shady and using you for your money, right? Which, you know, you guys, Darcey does have a lot of money. Darcey is a brand. And I don't know if you saw that In Touch Weekly. I reposted it on our Melanated Way page, but she's like in the top 6 90-day cast members for net worth. She's like, and she's up there. Her and I want to say David from David and Lana, they're up there. They've got money. So it's a concern, right? Not to be used for your money. It's definitely a concern for Darcey, or should be. Dasha said, yeah, he didn't say it was for an emergency. That I wouldn't understand. He said it was for a credit card, which is a little bit weird, right? I get it, you guys. Like, if you're going to pay a credit card in 2020 or 2021, you're going to pay it online or whatever. Like, you're not going to, like, what are you going to do? Mail the cash in? Or, I mean, I guess you could still go to the bank, right? You could probably still do that. Yeah, and he's an immigrant, so, like, maybe he doesn't have, like, everything set up yet because, you know, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I think he was just hiding it, and I think he didn't want to tell her what it was for, which, you know, says a lot about their relationship. No, David and Lana, you guys. David and Lana, not David and Annie. David from Vegas, who spends money online to talk to Lana through that app that she will only talk to him because she gets paid. Remember? And then he flew out there to find her, and she was MIA. And he was just like, I'm going to find her. I'm going to knock on doors. That David. Yes, you guys, that David. Anyways, that's the show, you guys. There was not a lot in this very first episode, but it was enough for me. I'm happy that the queens are back. I'm happy for the ugly crying. I'm happy for it all. It's like a breath of fresh air. So tomorrow is Wednesday. Wednesday shows we are covering and finally catching up with the single life. So we'll be doing that. And I'm going to catch us up on Love After Lockup so that we are up to date. So there'll be 2 episodes tomorrow. Again, we're doing Happily Ever After, not Happily Ever After. We're doing The Single Life, and we're doing Love After Lockup again. Single Life, Love After Lockup. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great rest of evening. What time is that? You guys are asking. We're going to do Love After Lockup at 5 o'clock because that's our regular time. And then we will do The Single Life at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And that's that. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye, guys. Love y'all.